Hey, good day, everybody. Today is the 25th of April, 2025, and it's rather humid today, as it always is here in Texas. It's just the way it goes. Let me talk about this 79 Porsche 928 Craig and Allison's car that's behind me. And my goodness, I do need a haircut, but I'm running an experiment to see what goes on with my hair as it gets longer, because I spent all that time in the Army and I never really grew my hair at all in decades before the Army and after the Army. So I'm going to try it, growing it out, seeing what happens. So let me talk to you about this 79 Porsche rear bumper fascia installation, some of the challenges that we faced, some of the obstacles we faced, some of the things maybe that y'all need to be concerned about, okay? So here it is. Kind of sort of on the car. It's not fully on the car yet. Very interesting how these cars were built. So some of the issues and challenges that we had yesterday, and I'm going to talk you through it just a little bit, because you got to remember, my objective is to always do it right the first time and not have to do any redos later. Brief history of this car. This car was in a fire, or so I have been told. I don't know what parts of the car burned or were subjugated to heat, possibly damaging heat. This rear fascia, I think, was one of those that probably did receive some damage, thus the curvatures of it. But I don't know. When I got the car was a rolling car, but it did not have any of the fascias, the rear bumper or the front bumper, on the vehicle. So guess what? I'm in the process now of putting on completed, restored, finished up parts. Let me just kind of outline some of the things we had to do. I should have taken videos of it yesterday, but we were just so busy doing this car. So right behind my finger is the crash bar. On the original body cars, it's different than the later model cars. I referred to my S4 sitting over there on the lift, right there, for reference points, but the rear crash bumper underneath the rear fascia is different than on the original body cars. So, which is no problem. This is not damaged. The bumper is not damaged, so I didn't really need anything off of the S4, but I wanted to be able to draw reference to it. But they're different. So they're so much different that you cannot refer to that for any kind of example. Nothing. Everything's mounted different. The only thing consistent on both cars is this hole here, corresponding hole right there, which goes up into the crash bumper, the actual hard aluminum bumper that mounts to the shocks, that mounts to the body. And the 5 or 6 screws or 7 screws on each side of the fascia, 5mm, those are all consistent. And of course the top bar right here that goes there, which I need to locate. I don't know where hers is. It's probably in a box somewhere. Also, on this car, these bumperettes they weren't in the vehicle. They weren't here. They weren't around. So I utilized some of my extra bumperettes from other cars that I've had and salvaged, and other cars that I've acquired, bought, purchased, traded for, things like that, to have a surplus of parts. So I got those out, and there's 2 different kinds. Apparently there's the original body kind and then the S4 kind, which are different. So we found these 2 up in the stash, put them on. These are actually integral to mounting the bumper onto the car. They're fundamental. Also, on the license plate bracket, I couldn't find hers, so I used one of mine. It takes a special kind of screw, which we are not using. That's just a regular 5mm bolt. That is a compromise. I wanted to use the conical head, cone head, flat Phillips screwdriver 5mm or 5mm .8 thread, but the heads kept chewing up. The alignment of the two holes in the bumper cover over the respective area on the aluminum bumper was achieved when the car was manufactured, but it could not be replicated after the fact of probable heating, probable life of the car. They were only off maybe a couple millimeters at the very most. So what we ended up doing was drilling out those holes in the bumper cover and into the bumper itself, and running in 5mm bolts, put nuts on the back to secure this bumper cover to the bumper itself, in addition with the aforementioned bumper impact things. Some people don't like those, but I kind of like it. Gives it sort of a rough, kind of a tough look on this 928. So these have to be mounted. The whole bumper has to come off. The crash bumper comes off the car. You put the bumper cover down on the table. You put the crash bumper on the inside of it. You line up all the holes. You put the screws in. Then you put these little bumperettes, bump stop things onto it. Then you have to play with the lights. It's very, very strange, because when the bumper cover is on the table and the face of the bumper cover is facing down, the ends of the bumper cover, they tend to bend out a little bit just due to gravity and the way the material flexes. So when you put in the light assemblies, it drives you crazy because the gaps are all weird. And we were looking like, okay, which one is the right, which one is the left? We're even going down to pulling up photos of an original body car and saying, okay, the reverse light is on the inside, the amber turn light is on the outside, which is consistent with German cars. And one of these taillights had a number on it, a Porsche number on it. Wasn't this one. I think it was this one had the part number on it. Trying to see it. Yeah, right here. Right there. 928 631 40301. And so we looked it up, and somebody mislabeled that in Google as the passenger side. So that was another wrinkle. You never can trust all the information online. It could be wrong, could be deliberately wrong, or just ignorantly wrong. So sorting through all that, and we found it, put the lights in correctly, and they had this gap in them. We went, okay, let's just keep driving on. So then this is definitely a two-man job. Totally a two-man job, or two-woman job, or two-person job to put this thing on. You got to have the car up in the air, and this is as far as I have it up in the air, because I've got my S4 on the lift. So I had some help yesterday, so I took advantage of getting this thing on. And as I said, it is on, but it's not on all the way. I have to still push this in and get this thing on the lift, crawl up under, stand underneath it and push on that, and then tighten it down and put the 5mm bolts. And you got to have flat washers up in there, flat fender washers up on the inside of that, because the nuts on there are very small and they'll go right through those holes. They'll go right through them. Notice also I put the new felt gasket on here. Got that from Parts House and put those on. And there's no sense in reusing the old one. Absolutely put the new ones in. And so it is where it is right now. It is at a pause point, but it took a lot of work to get it to this point. So that's it. Okay, talk to you later.